Good morning/afternoon/evening, everyone. Life is not a straight path, it's a winding road filled with highs, lows, detours, and discoveries. Too often, we become fixated on the destination, the next job, the next milestone, the next achievement. But what if the real magic lies not in the arrival, but in the process? To embrace the journey means to find meaning, growth, and joy in every step, even the uncertain ones. It means valuing the lessons in failure just as much as we celebrate success. It means showing up every day not just to reach the goal, but to become the kind of person who is shaped by the path. Whether you're climbing the ladder, chasing a dream, or simply finding your way, remember, the journey is what makes the destination worth it. So today, I challenge you, don't wait for the finish line to feel fulfilled. Embrace the process, embrace the setbacks, embrace the growth. Most of all, embrace the journey. 1. Growth happens in the process. When we talk about personal development or achieving success, we often focus on the end result, the promotion, the degree, the recognition, or the goal finally achieved. But the truth is, the most meaningful growth doesn't occur when you cross the finish line. It happens during the countless steps it takes to get there. Think about the person you are today versus who you were 5 years ago. Chances are, the biggest lessons you've learned came during times of uncertainty, challenge, and change. The journey forced you to adapt, to reflect, to confront your fears, and to build resilience. Those aren't things you gain by standing still or skipping straight to the ending. They're forged in the fire of effort, mistakes, persistence, and time. In the process, you gain experience, not just technical skills or knowledge, but emotional and mental strength. You learn how to keep going when things don't go your way. You discover the value of patience, of discipline, and of showing up even when motivation runs dry. You find out who you are and what you're capable of when comfort is stripped away. What's powerful is that this growth is often invisible to others and sometimes even to ourselves until we look back, but it's real and it's crucial. Without the journey, the destination would feel empty. Without the process, the progress wouldn't be earned. So when you're in the middle of the struggle, or when things feel slow and unremarkable, remember, that's where the transformation is happening. Growth is not an event, it's an unfolding. And every step you take, no matter how uncertain, is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more prepared for what's ahead. 2. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Setbacks are an inevitable part of any meaningful journey. They come in many forms: a failed exam, a lost job opportunity, a broken relationship, or a dream delayed. In the moment, they can feel like the end of the road, like proof that you're not good enough or that your efforts were wasted. But here's the truth: setbacks are not dead ends. They are redirections, opportunities, and more often than not, the starting point of a greater comeback. When something doesn't go your way, it forces you to pause and reassess. It pushes you to examine your habits, your strategies, and sometimes even your mindset. That pause, painful as it might be, is often where real clarity begins. In that space between disappointment and determination, you uncover strength you didn't know you had. History and everyday life are full of examples of people who turned failure into fuel. From inventors who faced countless rejections, to athletes who came back stronger after injury, to everyday people who rebuilt their lives from the ground up, their stories teach us that setbacks are not signs to stop, but signals to grow. They reveal what needs to change and invite you to rise to a higher standard. There's also something deeply human about failing. It humbles us. It makes us more empathetic and grounded. And most importantly, it teaches us how to rebuild brick by brick with more intention and resilience than before. The pain of a setback can spark the passion for a comeback. It sharpens your focus and renews your commitment to the goal. The comeback is never instant. It takes time, effort, and faith, especially when the results aren't visible right away. But in that process of rising again, you develop a new kind of strength, the kind that doesn't depend on perfect circumstances, but thrives in spite of them. Setbacks give you the raw material for growth, creativity, and breakthrough. They don't erase your progress, they redefine it. Often, they redirect you to something even better than what you originally planned. They remind you that progress isn't linear, and that resilience is a skill built only through adversity. 3. Be present, not just focused on the future in a world that constantly pushes us toward the next big thing, the next goal, the next achievement, the next stage of life. It's easy to fall into the trap of living in the future. We tell ourselves, I'll be happy when I get that job, or I'll finally feel fulfilled once I reach that milestone. While ambition is a powerful motivator, an overemphasis on the destination can rob us of the richness of the present moment. When you're always chasing what's next, life can start to feel like a checklist rather than a lived experience. Days blur into weeks, and you find yourself rushing through moments instead of being in them. The problem with this mindset is that life isn't only happening in the future, it's unfolding right now. And if you're not careful, you'll miss the very experiences that shape you and give meaning to your journey. Being present doesn't mean abandoning your goals. It means learning to value the process as much as the outcome. It means appreciating the people around you, the lessons in your challenges, and the beauty in everyday routines. Even in hard times, presence can help you find clarity, peace, and perspective, things that are often lost when your mind is stuck in what's ahead or what's missing. Presence is also where true growth occurs. You can't grow if you're constantly skipping ahead or dwelling on what hasn't happened yet. When you slow down and fully engage with what's in front of you, whether it's a conversation, a task, or even a setback, you open yourself up to learning in real time. You begin to understand yourself better, respond more thoughtfully, and appreciate the subtle progress that's happening every day. Technology and social media have made it even harder to stay grounded in the moment. We're bombarded with highlight reels of other people's lives, which can fuel anxiety, comparison, and a false sense of urgency. But the most meaningful parts of life aren't posted, they're lived. They're the quiet victories, the small joys, the personal breakthroughs that no one else may see but that matter deeply to you. Learning to be present is a practice, one that requires intention. It means putting your phone down, taking a breath, and fully engaging with where you are. It means choosing to listen instead of always preparing your response. It means noticing your surroundings, your emotions, and your growth, even if it's not dramatic or fast-paced. 4. Celebrate small wins in the pursuit of big dreams and long-term goals. It's easy to overlook the small victories along the way. We're often conditioned to believe that success only matters when it's large, public, and undeniable, the big promotion, the award, the grand achievement. But the truth is, real progress is built on a series of small, consistent steps, and each of those steps deserves recognition. Celebrating small wins isn't about inflating your ego, it's about reinforcing momentum. Every time you acknowledge your effort, you give yourself a reason to keep going. Whether it's waking up early when you didn't feel like it, finishing a tough workout, making a difficult phone call, or simply choosing to try again after a rough day, these moments are powerful. They are signs that you are moving, evolving, and showing up for yourself. Psychologically, celebrating small wins boosts motivation. It activates the reward center in your brain and creates a sense of accomplishment, even if you're still far from your larger goal. Over time, this builds confidence. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, who makes progress, who gets things done not just someday, but every day. Small wins also help you stay present and focused. They remind you that progress is not always flashy or immediate. Sometimes it's quiet and gradual, like forming a new habit, learning a new skill, or healing from something that hurt you. By noticing and appreciating these small steps, you train your mind to value consistency over perfection and effort over ease. In a world that often praises overnight success, it's easy to feel like you're behind or that your progress isn't enough. But success rarely happens all at once. The athletes who win gold medals, the entrepreneurs who build thriving companies, the artists who master their craft, they all get there by stacking small win on top of small win. Every day, often with no applause, celebrating small wins also helps you build a healthier relationship with yourself. It allows you to replace self-criticism with self-acknowledgement. Instead of focusing on what you haven't done, you begin to recognize what you have done, and that shift can be incredibly empowering. It turns your inner voice from a critic into a coach, so take time to notice your efforts. Journal them, speak them out loud, share them with someone who supports you, whether it's a 5-minute meditation, a finished to-do list, or simply resisting the urge to give up. These are victories. They matter, they add up. 5. Stay flexible, stay open. One of the greatest lessons life teaches us, often the hard way, is that things rarely go exactly as planned. You can set clear goals, map out a step-by-step strategy, and pour your energy into execution, only to find that the outcome looks very different than what you expected. In those moments, your ability to stay flexible and stay open determines whether you grow through the experience or become stuck in disappointment. Flexibility doesn't mean having no direction, it means being willing to adjust your sails when the wind changes. It means holding your goals firmly, but your methods loosely. Life is dynamic, and so is your journey. The opportunities that will define you may come from unexpected places. The relationships that transform you may enter your life when you're least looking for them. And the dreams that once drove you may evolve into something entirely new. And that's not failure, it's growth. Being flexible also allows you to respond to setbacks with creativity instead of frustration. When you're too rigid, any deviation from the plan feels like a disaster, but when you cultivate adaptability, you begin to see challenges as invitations to explore different paths. Instead of asking, "Why isn't this working?" you begin to ask, "What can I try next?" That mindset shift opens up new possibilities and keeps you moving forward. Staying open means allowing space for uncertainty and surprise. It means letting go of the need to control every variable and trusting that even detours have something valuable to offer. It also means being open to feedback, to change, and even to the idea that what you once thought you wanted may no longer serve you. As you grow, your vision might change, and that's okay. Openness is not a sign of weakness or indecision. It's a sign of self-awareness and courage. It's also important to note that flexibility doesn't always come naturally. Many of us cling tightly to plans because they offer a sense of security, but life, and especially personal growth, doesn't live inside comfort zones. Often, the greatest breakthroughs come when we release control, surrender to the process, and lean into the unknown with curiosity instead of fear. In the context of relationships, careers, education, and even self-identity, flexibility allows you to stay aligned with your values while still evolving. It gives you permission to make changes without guilt, to pivot without shame, to start over if you need to, or to stay the course with a fresh perspective. It's not about giving up your dreams, it's about being wise enough to know when to shift your approach to reach them. 6. Progress over perfection. Perfection is a seductive illusion. It promises success, validation, and security if only you can get everything exactly right. But in reality, perfection often becomes the very thing that holds us back. It tells us not to start until we're ready, not to try unless we're sure, not to speak up unless we're certain it will be flawless. The truth is, nothing meaningful in life begins with perfection. It begins with progress. Choosing progress over perfection is about letting go of the pressure to have it all figured out and instead giving yourself permission to be a work in progress. It means accepting that growth is messy, nonlinear, and sometimes uncomfortable. It's recognizing that you are learning, evolving, and improving, and that's more than enough. Perfectionism can paralyze us. It keeps us in planning mode, endlessly revising and second-guessing instead of taking action. It fuels fear of failure and a constant sense that we're not measuring up. But when you shift your focus to progress, you liberate yourself. You begin to value movement over mastery and learning over being right. Suddenly, mistakes are not signs of inadequacy. They are proof that you're trying. Progress is about consistency, not intensity. It's the small daily actions that compound into significant change over time. It's writing one paragraph a day instead of waiting for the perfect inspiration to write a novel. It's speaking up even if your voice shakes. It's showing up for yourself again and again, especially when no one's watching and it's hard to see results. When you prioritize progress, you redefine what success looks like. It's no longer about being the best, the fastest, or the most polished. It's about being better than you were yesterday. That shift creates a healthier internal dialogue. Instead of criticizing yourself for falling short of an ideal, you begin to celebrate how far you've come. That fuels motivation, builds confidence, and fosters resilience. Progress over perfection also invites authenticity. You don't have to pretend to have it all together. You can be real, vulnerable, honest about your struggles and your wins. This kind of mindset doesn't just benefit you, it gives others permission to do the same. When people see you striving, growing, and embracing imperfection, it inspires them to believe they can too. Striving for perfection creates anxiety. Striving for progress builds momentum. One keeps you stuck, the other keeps you moving. And in the long run, the one who moves forward even slowly will always outpace the one who waits to be perfect. 7. Your story is unfolding. Every person is living a story, a unique, deeply personal journey shaped by choices, challenges, dreams, and moments of both joy and hardship. Sometimes it's easy to forget that. We compare our in-progress lives to someone else's highlight reel. We judge our chapters by someone else's final pages, but your story is still unfolding. And just because it doesn't look finished or polished doesn't mean it isn't meaningful or valuable. In fact, some of the most defining chapters of your life will be the ones that feel the most uncertain while you're in them. The parts where you're still figuring it out, still falling down, still learning how to stand again. These are the moments that shape your character, reveal your values, and build your strength. They may not be the ones you want to post about or share with the world, but they are the ones that give depth to your narrative. Your story is not supposed to be a straight line. It will have plot twists you never saw coming, pauses you didn't expect, and rewrites you didn't plan for. That doesn't mean you failed, it means you're human. The most powerful stories are the ones filled with real struggle, resilience, growth, and self-discovery. Stories where the protagonist doesn't have all the answers but keeps moving anyway. Stories that are raw, imperfect, and alive. It's important to remember that your story is yours. It doesn't have to follow someone else's timeline or structure. You don't need to meet every societal expectation or reach every milestone by a certain age. You're not behind, you're exactly where you're meant to be right now. Every day you get to write a new line. Every decision you make, every risk you take, every lesson you learn adds texture and meaning to the larger narrative of your life. And the beauty of an unfolding story is that there's still so much unwritten. Just because you've struggled doesn't mean you're broken. Just because you've lost something doesn't mean you have nothing left. Just because you've been hurt doesn't mean you won't heal. There is always more ahead, more growth, more healing, more opportunity, more joy. The next chapter hasn't even been lived yet, and it has the potential to surprise you in the best possible ways. So honor your story, all of it. The parts that made you cry, the moments that made you stronger, the phases where you were lost, the memories that shaped your beliefs, and even the quiet stretches where nothing seemed to be happening. Those too are part of the unfolding.